Hi, thanks for checking out our video. What we're going to take you through is a little bit of a dynamic warm-up and some things to do post-run or post-workout to try to prevent some injuries. Now, what we're showing you is some pretty basic stuff. As we're going through, you'll notice I'm even critiquing myself because it's easy to do things incorrectly. And if you're doing things incorrectly, you're not going to be helping yourself and may perpetuate a problem worse. This first one I'm showing you is the world's greatest stretch. Added a little twist in here. If you're short on time, this is a great one to really open up your hips, hamstrings, getting your quads, your hip flexors. Pretty much it gets everything with one quick shot. I really like doing this, and I do it almost before every workout because it incorporates so many different things, even up into your T-spine, your pecs, and your lats. This next exercise, I show you a little progression from quad pulls to a quad pull with a reach, as we see here. Notice I'll switch hands. When you reach with the opposite hand, you're going to get a little bit more into your TFL and not as much just straight psoas. Here we add an RDL with it if you really want to get fancy and a little bit more tricky. Be careful, it's easy to over twist with this and lose position of your lumbar or your pelvis, and defeats the exercise. Here we're going into some lateral lunges. Big thing with this is go down as far as you feel comfortable. There's no need to push it. We don't need to pull any groin muscles. We don't need to give you a hip impingement by over squatting. A nice big reach forward to try to spread out in between the shoulder blades and feel your upper back almost kind of round out behind you. Will actually create some space for you to be able to squat and keep your pelvis under your rib cage. Here we have a lunge with a reach going up into a runner's pose. This is a great way to get your hips warmed up, to get your mind warmed up, to balance and stabilize, drive through your leg up into a single leg stance. Last one of the dynamic flexibilities, this is just a glute bridge. Now the difference is here, I'm setting my ribs down by exhaling before I bridge up, and I am pausing at the top, holding those ribs in tight. Notice I'm not bridging up very high. I'm holding at the top for a count of 3 to really focus on core and glute activation and let my hips open up. Here we go into our dynamic stuff. Okay, that's a butt kick. Unlike most butt kicks where people kick their butt from behind, we want to get our heel up underneath it. This is also a great time anytime we're doing dynamic stuff to work on your arm swing. We have a high knee run. Same idea. Notice as I'm doing this, I have a nice forward lean. You see some people when they do high knees, they lean way back like they're in the marching band or the drum major. Okay, we want to keep our forward lean, maintain elbows bent to 90 degrees, swing through the shoulder. Heel should be up underneath our butt. Here we're doing some A skips. Again, work on your arm swing and your snap down. Leg mechanics should be the same. Getting into some bounding to work some backside mechanics. Really work on our push and power of our stride. And here's a karaoke with a high step crossover. Why do we do this? Dissociation through your trunk. Shoulders and pelvis have to be able to move opposite ways. So here's some post-run workout stuff. We're showing you a side step series with a mini band. I tried to keep most of these things to anything you could do at a park or at a track with little to no equipment. So I think this is the only thing you would need, being a little mini band, to get through some of these preventative exercises. The most important thing with this is to make sure we maintain a neutral lumbopelvic alignment, which I was trying to demonstrate in the beginning of this short little clip. Okay, you should feel this in your butt, like a C sign around your glutes. Single leg squat, same thing. Keep your ribs pulled in, maintain a neutral lumbar pelvis alignment. I don't want to see you twist or corkscrew. We don't want to see your hips drop. Knee should go directly over your second toe. Single leg RDLs. Pick something behind you to reach for with your hip and your foot. Okay, if you notice here, I'm sitting back. My hips move backwards as I do these RDLs. You should feel the weight go into the heel of your foot and your glute and hamstring activate. Here we have a PRI exercise. This is one of the more complex ones, and I actually, after watching this, didn't do it right myself, but I'm sitting my left hip back, turning my belt buckle to the left, and reaching along with my right arch. So again, turning my belt buckle to the left, left hip comes back, reaching along with my right arch. You should feel your left hip and your right hip working together here. Now my tibia, or my left lower leg, is a little bit what we'd call abducted. I'd like to see that adducted and more closer into midline by pressing through my big toe. Here we have some bridge walkouts. A great way to crush your hamstrings and also work on some lumbopelvic stability at the same time. So if you pretended you put a cup of water basically across your belt line or at your belly button, you don't want to spill it. Just walking those legs in and out, focus on keeping your toes pulled up towards your shin, heels dug into the ground. Great way to work on hamstring control. Basic plank. Okay, I'm actually a little bit high if I'm going to be critical on myself. What I don't want to ever see is people doing that. No sagging. You want to press through your elbows, pelvis pulled in, glutes squeezed. Here's a lateral plank. I'll show you a couple different variations of this. This isn't a three-point stance. There's reasons to do both. Neither one's better or worse. I'd mix it up. Same idea. You always want to be pressing through your elbow. You don't want to sag. Don't want your hips down. Always engaged. Don't worry about how long you go. Just worry about the quality of your plank. So here we have some runners' calf raises. This is a double leg version. Make sure you're leaning into something until you feel a little stretch in your calf before you do these. Okay, we want a full range of motion, pressing onto your big toe. Here we have some toe raises, so we're working the anterior compartment muscles. Very important if you're somebody who has a hard time dorsiflexing their foot during their swing phase. I believe this is the last exercise, so this looks like a downward dog, but this is another PRI exercise. Notice my back is actually rounded out. That's not something I have you do in yoga. So I'm trying to round out my back up towards the sky, keeping my ribs pulled in tight as I breathe. And when I'm exhaling, I'm letting my heels drop towards the floor. Again, we're doing this for reps of breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth.